Who are your female role models, and what have you learned from them?
Well, there were a number of them, starting really with my first wife. I mean, I would be a disaster if I hadn't have married her. And she opened my eyes to lots of things. But, you know, Carol's a role model. We've had managers that are. Katharine Graham was a terrific model. And I mentioned her in the article.